Good morning. It is Saturday morning, October the 5th, and it's approaching 10:30. We've made it out of Point Judith altogether, and we are currently out in Block Island Sound, making our way westward along the coast of Rhode Island towards Watch Hill. Our destination today is Point Judith. No, we came from Point Judith. Our destination today is Napatree Beach. Let's see. We got off to a late start today, partly because it was pretty chilly, so we stayed in bed a little later than normal this morning and dawdled around waiting for the temperature to warm up a little. Which it did, of course. But let's see. We're just over 60, so that's as warm as it's supposed to get today. But we have good wind out of the northeast. We're currently on a beam reach. Haven't worked out an ETA yet for Watch Hill, but we're in for a pleasant day. Oh yeah, it might be cool, but there's lots of sun. There's not a cloud in the sky, quite literally. And so hopefully we will today finally get to top off our batteries. I'll keep you posted on that important situation. So I think that's the report for right now. It's about 1:15, and we're still chugging along, sailing along the Rhode Island coast west towards Watch Hill. The wind has been fluky today and not as strong as predicted, but it keeps shifting around a little bit, and I'm constantly having to shift the headsail, from one side to the other, because sometimes I can pole it out wing on wing, and then sometimes the wind will shift and I can't sustain that, and so I have to put it out on the same side as the main, and then the wind shifts back some more and it's being blanketed by the main, and I shift it back on the pole. And now it's gone a little bit south of east, so I've shifted the pole. The main is jibed to starboard, and so I put the pole to port, and I'm back to wing on wing at the moment, and I'm doing between 4 and 5 knots, which is better than I have been doing. So we'll see if maybe it's settled into a bit of stability. That would be nice. Our ETA is about 3 o'clock at Watch Hill. I'm not sure how long it'll take us to get from Watch Hill all the way around. What in a straight line would be a very short distance to behind Napatree Beach, probably a couple hours. But that's the situation, and well, I'll let you have a look at our current situation. Well, the wind is now shifted around to the south, which is actually the forecasted direction for tomorrow. but we can deal with south. That'll still take us west. We've had to shift the head sail around off the whisker pole to port, and so now it's flying on the same side as the main to starboard. So we're on a beam reach on a port tack, and thankfully it's actually been steady for a little while. I actually started to get bored. I didn't have shifting the head sail every 10 minutes to keep me amused. And then I remembered that I have a repair to make to the markings on the anchor road. They'll let me know how much road I've let out. I think I mentioned that before. Now, for most of this trip, the weather has been, too rough really to do little projects underway, but today is pretty benign for once. So I did the fix, and I thought I'd use it as an opportunity to show you how I do the markings on the anchor road. All right, hopefully we'll be able to see this in the sun here. But basically the system is that there's a mark every 10 feet. And now it's really subtle, so it's hard to see, but the width of the whipping is significant. So a narrow whipping, and narrow means narrower than the width of the rope, means 10. And a whipping that's about the same width as the rope means 20. Now some of these get kind of subtle, and I'll admit that sometimes a quick look, I'm not sure what I'm looking at. But anyway, so that's 10, that's 20. Now we have a 10 and a 20, so that's 30. So this is kind of like Roman numerals. And that's 20 and 20, so that's 40 feet. And this is wider than the thickness of the rope, so that's 50. And this gets repeated. I've got 200 feet of road, so it gets repeated with 4 different colors of whippings. The next color is blue, and then I think green, but I hardly ever have, I don't think I've ever had that much road out, so it doesn't really matter. So that's the system. So that, of course, only is the length of the line portion of the road. I've got 10 feet of chain as well, so I have to add that 10 feet in when I'm figuring out how much road to let out. So that's how that works. Oh, and in other news, it's now about 1:45, and the battery monitor is telling me that our batteries are once again full. So, good news. So it's about 20 minutes of 3, and we're pretty much at Watch Hill. Not quite to the buoy yet. But the wind continued to shift, and right at the moment it's coming from southwest, which was not in the forecast, not even close. So we're now on a close reach, or maybe even close hauled, pretty close. We're going to get to fall off about 20 degrees when we round the buoy off Watch Hill, so that'll be good. And then we'll turn about 90 degrees to go close to north to get up to the entrance into the channel in Little Narragansett Bay. So we'll be able to sail all that way, right up until the point where we decide we need to put the sails down, because we're not going to sail into Little Narragansett Bay. Pretty sure not. We'll think about it. Well, it's almost 3:45, and we've just dropped the anchor. behind Napatree Beach. And I'm here sooner than I thought I would be because I did not go all the way around through the channel. I took a shortcut, but I'll talk more about that later. First I have to get through my chores, and the first chore is putting up the riding sail. It's about 10 minutes of 4 now. Putting up the riding sail took about 3 minutes. When I was done with that, I put the solar panels down flat. I pulled the dinghy in, giving it just enough line to stay clear of the back of the boat, you know, like 8 feet. I tied off the tiller and I put the tiller pilot away. So now it's time for the pop top enclosure. Well, it's about 2 minutes after 4 now. And the pop top enclosure is up, and for good measure I tied halyards and other lines that run up the mast off to the forward lower shrouds to reduce their banging in the night. There's really nothing that will eliminate it, apparently. Alright, I think I'm pretty much done, except I'm suddenly reminded I need to put up a beach towel to block the setting sun. Then I'll have my beer.
Tonight for dinner, we are having tuna noodle casserole, which was dehydrated. But for the tuna, we used one of those packets from the supermarket of tuna that doesn't need to be refrigerated. So that part wasn't dehydrated. Anyway, and more salad, and of course, a glass of wine. It is cool here.